at YouTube. And we are live, Soul.
All right. What is up, guys? Welcome to Her Lounge Podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, welcome to my podcast episode. We used to post these on my YouTube channel, then we stopped. We made a whole new YouTube just for the podcast, but because my following is on my personal, I got to go live here. So, anyways, guys, welcome to Her Lounge Podcast. If you're new here, hello, my name is Marisol, and I have my podcast producer.
Hello, everybody. At RobGTV all over the internet.
There you go. So this is my homie from day one. We've been together for, not literally, guys. I'm talking about like podcasts together.
Podcast homie.
We're going on for how many years now, Rob?
Dude, I mean, originally, I guess, there's like 18, 19, and then like a gap, and then 20, 21, 22. We're going like 5 years.
Yeah, we're going on 5 years. So we've gone on and off on this podcast journey, but it looks like this is the most permanent we've been. So I guess 3 years straight now.
3 years straight, going on 3 years straight.
So
I'm going to post this in your Discord, by the way.
Okay. So welcome so much for that. And if you're also new, I'd love for you to join Her World. We are also on Patreon. I post an additional episode on there as well. Come be a part of Her World. It's Patreon /Her Lounge Podcast. You can come on over, be a part of our Discord. You get an additional episode on Fridays versus just the free episode on all streaming platforms. So welcome and thank you for joining in. If you're joining us and you're watching, if you're not and you're listening to us, what's up? Marissa will be joining us if anybody's asking. She's just a little late, but she'll be here soon.
I feel like I heard the doorbell already.
I think she did ring. So you guys know I love to get started with a positive quote of the day, and your positive quote of the day is, here she is. I told y'all she was walking in.
Go ahead and sit down. Close the door.
Huh?
Yeah. We're live on YouTube, by the way.
We're live on YouTube today, Marissa.
But get situated. Get your mic. I'll turn the camera on you. Marisol's doing her quote of the day.
I'm doing my quote of the day. The purpose of this glorious life is not simply to endure it, but to soar, stumble, and flourish. I'm gonna move this out of your way. As you learn to fall in love with existence, we were born to live by dear, not merely exist. So, sorry about all that noise, guys. If you're listening, if you're watching one, then I'm making all this.
It's just life, y'all.
It is.
Do you want to build a snowman? You know what I mean?
And that's my co-host, y'all. Marissa, let them know where they can find you.
Juice Caboose HTX and The Queen is Dead podcast.
You know what I'm saying? This is my homie.
You know what I'm saying?
This is my friend who I just met in current years, guys. But she's been like, I think my friend in my past life, and I didn't know it because we clicked. And I usually don't make friends that easily.
Girl,
so I'm kind of skeptical.
Why I used to get my nails like that.
This neon?
No. What is that animal?
Cheetah?
Cheetah, girl. Leopard? I used to do cheetah all the time. It was too much. Okay. Anyway, go back to our friendship.
Listen, real quick. real quick though, talking about nails. So I saw this interview with Black China. I've been on this Black China investigation.
She's so beautiful. Because of you, I started watching her page.
She is so naturally beautiful. It's so sad that she did all that junk to her face. I don't know why she did that.
Pressures of Hollywood.
So I watched her mom too.
Y'all, this thing just you know what I mean?
You gotta tighten it right there.
I'm just saying.
How's that?
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
So I saw a video of her and her mom. Well, not her and her mom. It was her mom interviewing. And so she basically was saying like Kanye was a front with his church stuff, that it's not really real. They're all front.
Okay.
And then she also said that basically her daughter converting is also just another front. And I said, damn, how's your own mama going to say that about you? She's evil, like that's straight evil.
The only one who's going to really know is Jesus. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, what can we do?
And everything. And anything and everything that you do. But she did say that when she got that devil tattoo removed, she said, okay, this might be real.
Yeah.
Because she said that was something that she felt was part of the whole guess.
Even though China said that's not what it meant to her.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the thing. It's like everything means something different to everybody. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It's still.
It is.
We talking about her baptism? I stepped
No,
out of
we're
the
talking
room.
about that
tattoo.
Oh.
That devil tattoo, or what is it called? Bless.
Is it a
Girl,
Bamfit?
I didn't even know that was. Even though I remember seeing the image, I just didn't know the name or like whatever.
Yeah, I didn't. And it's got two. There's two of them supposedly. She got the worst of the two of these devil images.
It's just part of her journey, man.
I love seeing her change. I love seeing. She's just so pretty. Like she's straight pretty. She's just really pretty. Yeah. Anyway, it made me think of her because I saw this video of her this weekend. And she was like, "So you're not getting your nails done either?" She's like, "No, I'm gonna leave that for the younger girls." And as I'm looking at my nails, I'm like,
girl, when I saw your nails, hold up, because 98, 99 Marissa was too much.
98.
That cheetah print on them long ass nails, I was too much.
Well,
girl.
When she said that, I was like, well, damn, I really, I wasn't trying. She's like, I'm grown now. And she's like, I'm doing the grown woman nails. And I'm like, fuck does that mean?
But that's for her.
I think that's just part of her journey.
It's
like
where exactly.
she's feeling she's got to make a few changes to feel like I'm not that person. And
anymore.
I think because she did the really long nails, she did the really I don't know what that look is called. Ghetto fabulous. I really don't know what this is called, but whatever that look is called.
It's that hood shit.
Yeah. It's like whatever that look is called. She, I think, just does not want to be a part of it at all.
Yeah.
And so I was like looking at my nails. I text my guy. I'm like, so my nail,
Jesus
just
told
so you know,
me.
like my nails are underneath here.
Damn,
I know. I don't know what. Look, that's how much longer my real.
Oh my God.
I know. And so I told him,
I'm surprised that they've,
Well, that's why they stay so well, because my nail's so long. It's not sitting on like a little nail bed. It's just actually my whole nail. So I said, I think when I go see you in 2 weeks, we're going to go back to having acrylic over my real nail. He's like, okay, whatever you want to do.
Wherever you are in your nail journey, girl.
He needs to be our third person on here, my podcast producer. I mean, my nail tech.
Oh, cool. I'm not the third person on here at all.
I'm sorry, my fourth. I'm in like the fourth.
I thought about Rob this weekend because I was in Round Rock.
Holla.
I was in McKinney 2 weeks ago. Then I was in Round Rock this past weekend for Isaiah's stuff. And I was like, man, this is just it's so beautiful out here.
I drove up here through I-10. I was like, fuck this flat ass place. Nothing but buildings and bullshit.
Why you talking shit about flat asses, bitch?
Well, it was funny because Pete and he went live while we were waiting for the DPS. And
he went live at the DPS place.
We were outside waiting.
I'm done.
And that's a whole ordeal that I had a conversation with. Well, do you know that?
Don't lose your train of thought.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So he said, so we're moving to, because he was talking about the stuff that's happening in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's happening in Chicago?
All of them.
The teenagers.
I'm trying to keep up.
I'll show you a video after the podcast.
You've got to see this. It's just crazy.
Just
this white lady just gets beat up for no reason.
She was trying to walk into her building, dude.
Just walk into her building. These teenagers are out and about just beaten up because they feel like it.
It's the media, boo. It's their fault. They're telling everybody that person's bad and that person's bad. And if they don't look like you.
But I feel like even white people feel like they're bad. They've done so much to where they're even making white people feel bad.
It's crazy.
It's really insane. Don't you think? Yeah. I almost feel like white people walk on eggshells right now. Like, I'm not just saying that, but I really do feel like when I have conversations with my Caucasian friends, it's almost like I feel like they need to almost like, hey, I have a Hispanic friend. I'm like, yeah, bitch. So I'm your Hispanic friend. I'm not sure if you like realize this, but
well, the problem is they're being blamed for the sins of their fathers, and that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? And not every white person knows what the fuck it is to have white privilege, because you have got to be a goddamn elitist to have benefited from any kind of privilege.
And not every white person has all this money.
That's what I was saying. Not all white people were the same. There's white people with like privilege.
I really
what
dig
is
that
that
hair color, my G?
What?
I
Oh,
really dig
thank
it.
you
It
for
looks
Yeah, and the
that.
light looks really
Yeah, it
red.
looks nice.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I need to carry that light with me everywhere I go.
Wait, so what is he talking about? Where I'm moving, or what was he saying?
Oh, so he was just saying like, so I think he wants to go to Montgomery County, so he wants to go north.
Mhm.
And so anyway, we're talking about that, and he goes, wait, so we'd have to find a new church, a new jiu-jitsu place. And I'm like, I don't think there's any jiu-jitsu places out there. We'd have to still come into the city because there isn't jiu-jitsu places like
There's gotta
that
be.
close. No, we looked it up. It's still like we'd have to
No?
come in 18 minutes into town.
Well,
So
18 minutes.
18 minutes
Going-
versus 7 minutes right now getting to.
Mighty Soul and Distance crack me up.
Yeah,
dude.
I just
Talking
don't
about-
like it. I hate it. If it's not literally, and if my sister, she told me the other day, I'm like, oh, my friend's son's going to come to this school because my sister moved right on Donovan.
Oh, she's on Donovan.
Yeah, so she literally bought her house right
Oh,
there.
Fuck
Her
yeah.
And so I said, every time we pass by, I said, my friend's son's coming here. And she goes, if
He's
you
out there
fucking
right
tell me
now.
this one more time, she's like, you tell every time we pass it up, you tell me about it. But there's a coffee house that I just tried across the street from there. Have you gone to Grindhouse?
Grindhouse.
So I just tried it today.
How was it?
It was pretty good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it
good.
was
That's
actually
awesome.
pretty good. It was
That's
actually
awesome.
pretty good. The cortado was not in a little miniature cortado cup, which I
Mhm.
was very impressed. It was a
Good.
very big cup, but I was like,
Good.
okay, me and you.
That's awesome.
I always wonder why my cortado cup's got to be this little.
So
even though
is
that's
she
what-
on St. Pius side or on the other side?
On
the other side.
coming
of Donovan?
coming towards Yale.
Okay, so she's really
Lit-
close to you then.
Super. She moved. I walked her house and vice versa.
Let's remember we're live on YouTube too.
Hey.
Huh?
See, let's remember we're live on YouTube. I'm gonna keep throwing those reminders
Yes.
out there.
Okay. So anyway, I really wanted to touch on kind of two things, and it's just kind of about one was about parenting. You guys know I'm a fan of the spillover, and I know this is a plug in here for them every time I talk about them. It's so annoying. Same with my soft white underbelly. Y'all all need to pay me for that as much as I watch y'all.
Girl.
She had a lady on there is originally from Scandinavia, but then they lived in Sweden, but then she moved to the States when she was in her 20s, had kids. Her kids were born in the US. And then she made this observation of how kids here, she really hadn't made that observation as much because she didn't have kids when she was in her 20s. When she had kids, she realized that kids don't play outside once it gets cold. They're from Indiana. She's like, that's odd. Why don't they play outside? Like, who said that's a bad thing? But you know how she said that we as Americans, we kind of condition our life based on weather. Is that not weird? Okay. So like, listen, so would you go outside? Would you like let the kids play outside when it's really cold? Or, you know what I'm saying? When it's really cold, you're like, no, don't go outside because you're going to get sick.
No.
Right?
Because cold doesn't make you get sick. I think it's Scandinavia where they dip the kids in the water in the freezing cold.
Well,
Tell that to a Mexican mom.
Yeah. Or no socks.
Oh yeah. They're like, oh, you're gonna get sick.
Te vas
Don't
a
go outside.
Exactly.
Te vas a
Oh,
enfermar.
I think it's Scandinavia. I could be wrong. But what they do is when the kids are like in second, or not even, dude, when they're like 4, it's part of what they do, right? Their tradition. They send them outside in just undies, let them run around, go crazy, and then they're ready for the season. Because then that's going to keep them from getting sick. I don't know. It's
Got
fucking
it.
crazy.
Well, she was
Could be
talking about all
Scandinavia.
that. I haven't gotten too deep into the podcast yet. I'm like only about 25 minutes, but she was talking about how in Sweden people leave their kids outside
Yeah.
to nap purposely.
Hmm.
So you're like at a coffee shop and you see all these strollers parked outside, and parents are just chit-chatting inside, having a good old little time with no worries in the world. And I'm like, no one's going to steal the kids. Like, who the fuck wants to steal your kid? Like, no one cares to steal your kid. I'm like, if only that were
Well,
the
good
case
for them, because over here it's a business.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean? Like they're
That's what
kidnapping
it's
kids.
exactly what I thought about. I
I'm
was
just
like,
saying.
there's no way you can leave your child unsupervised
Oh,
here.
girl, they're gone. They're done.
They're done.
They're done.
Somebody's going to take them to be a prostitute. Someone's going to take them to sell them. Like,
Mhm.
something is not going to go well for our child who is unsupervised.
That's so scary.
And literally she's like, no, like and it's based on like also the weather. So if it's like really nice weather, you are for sure making sure that you have either lunch or your breakfast outside.
Oh, I like
So
that.
you must. Your kids are for sure playing outside. Like that's it's a given.
Yeah.
And then if you have babies, it's a given that you're going to go meet up outside at the like, you know what I'm saying, with your friends and hang out, and you're just going to leave your kids parked there. If they're asleep, it's like not a big deal. And it's funny because one of the things that when we went to Europe that we took away with is that we noticed that in like in France and Paris, we were like sitting at a like a coffee place, and people were rushing in for their baguettes and like rushing out and with their wine, like their wine bottle. We're like, where the fuck is everybody going? Why are they in such a rush? You know? Yeah. So then we decided to ask the bakery. We're like, why is everybody coming in here? Like it was like rush hour, like happy hour. Does that make sense? Like imagine like you're there for happy hour. So everybody gets together, and I forget the place. It's like it's like just like a basically like a stream, like a square. Yeah. And everybody, this is the time like right before dinner, they go hang out there and they chit chat with friends over wine, cheese, and a baguette. And they're just like having, no one was on their phone.
It's beautiful.
I have to find this picture, Rob. So hopefully we can, for those that will watch it later, I know in post. Oh no, we're live. So you can't do that in post,
for
right?
Clips purposes,
maybe for clips. Let me find this picture. Because I remember taking a picture because I was the only one with my phone. Because it looked so pretty. No one cared to be on their phone. No one cared to have any type of social media interaction. Like they were so in the present and so in the moment. And so she was saying that in Europe, like Europeans in general, like everything is more outdoorsy. And it's so true. Because, you know, people say
bonding in relationships is so important.
It's so important. Like we don't have time for anything here, like nothing.
Well, because
Marissa lives so close to my house, and I was
just thinking about how Rob was right the other day.
What?
Remember when you said you're going to be 5 miles away from each other, and you're still not going to go to? I've been waiting for her to tell me to come over.
I'm not even. No, listen, Pete and I said this year we're going to be in our house.
Roberto.
It's halfway through the year. This year we're going to do it.
No,
we're
we said
fucking May.
Well, our pool's not hot enough yet. Our pool's not heated.
Oh,
so,
bro, don't tell my kids that they went in the pool at this hotel we were at. It was freezing.
Inside or outside?
I was outside.
Oh my gosh.
But the water's still cold.
It's freezing cold. We were like really trying to make it this weekend because it was hot on Saturday.
Yeah.
We were like, hell yeah. Pete's all scrubbing the bottom. He's like, let's clean it.
Were y'all going to watch the Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis fight?
No, we were just trying to get our pool used.
I'm talking about where y'all gonna watch
it.
Oh, where? Oh, it's this Saturday. We're not here.
Out of town.
I know.
Okay.
Traveling.
All right. Well, I'll be watching it at home with the kids. Then I'm not gonna see Rome till June.
What?
That long?
Damn.
That long. He's leaving Louisiana in a couple of days, going to Indiana, then Mississippi.
How is that even a normal life for him? Like, does he ever just feel like I just want to like take my shoes off in my own home?
He does.
That's got to be tough.
That's why when he comes home, I have to make sure to shave the cooch because it's not fair.
It's
not fair that you're always on the road and then you come home to an angry bush. It's just not. It's not fair.
See, I'm glad you went there because I was gonna be like, he's married, he has all these kids and responsibilities. That's why he has to do it.
I'm just saying he is. Poor guy. Anyway,
that's tough.
It is.
Anyway, back to the podcast.
No, that's really tough. No, seriously, it is because man,
it's tough for everybody.
The one thing that I love most about having an additional child now is that I don't travel as much anymore. And I'm so happy about it. I'm going this week because it's new places. Pete hasn't been. So I have to go to make this relationship, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm just like, when do I have to go again?
Yeah.
Chicago. And I was like, oh, I don't know about Chicago. I'm going to rethink that again.
I have to think about that one.
Can we fly into the roof and just like Alex Jones style?
Exactly, right? And then but I wanted to talk about something that Rob sent over before I mentioned this whole parenting thing. Planned Parenthood. I don't know. Am I going to be dinged for this? Perhaps?
I mean, you know, the channel's small. Maybe they're not having like a big eye on you right now.
Planned Parenthood executive commits suicide after botched child porn raid in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Do you read it? Did you read the article?
No, I just saw the headline. I was like, fuck, what is this?
So in a nutshell, they were investigating the former executive who now he worked for another company doing the same similar kind of stuff, like whatever, like behind the scenes, whatever, client onboarding, whatever it was. So they raided the wrong apartment. They raided his neighbor's apartment, broke down the lady's door, put her in handcuffs. Her little kids were coming out of the room screaming. They had guns drawn. And it wasn't until they realized that like it was the wrong place. They were like, they apologized, whatever. I guess the guy caught wind and then committed suicide either that day or the next day, the article said. And then, yeah, so that's kind of where they're trying to investigate, like just to what degree.
And is she going to sue? Because
I would
She
imagine, but let's not forget.
Because now you just traumatized
these
my
cops
children.
get things wrong way too much, bro.
Yeah.
These young
This has to be well thought
If
out.
it's a woman, did they not see a picture before of who the person they're looking for? They're just going to fucking arrest a random woman?
They were asking her, like, where's, I forgot the guy's name. Where's whatever, Steve or whatever.
Tim.
Tim? Okay, where's Tim? She's like, that's my neighbor. What are you talking about? And they were asking her questions. And I was going to take him Easter leftovers downstairs or whatever next door. And then I just fell asleep and forgot. So somehow they got their apartments mixed up.
Jesus help us.
But I don't know to what degree, like how long this guy had been investigated or what exactly all he had going on. But as the headline says, it was a Planned Parenthood executive.
We feel for the woman and we're going to do everything we can to make it right. No, bitch, you should have been already known what you were looking for.
Jesus help us.
This is out of control.
It is.
No one thinks that's weird.
It's very weird. Yeah, right. The executive or the raid.
The fact that how long had you been an executive and they're just now figuring out that you're a perv?
People can hide it for a long time.
Yeah.
But you're working for a Planned Parenthood.
It doesn't matter. There's people working for churches, schools.
True.
Everywhere. They blend in really, really well.
And I wonder how no one sees anything. There's got to be a little bit of some kind of, how you just kind of your spicy senses kind of go up when you meet someone. No one kind of has that. Like when you're interviewing someone, like when you're asking them like your experience, like, I don't know.
Maybe not the place of employment, but family sure does know. They're closer to these people. They know.
And if you were watching child pornography, my next question is, who were your victims? Right? And are those victims ever now going to come out now that he's committed suicide? I wonder.
Depending on how old they are, I guess, huh?
They could.
That's so...
Child pornography is so brutal. I think when you hear the word child pornography, you think, oh, gentle, whatever. But Ashton Kutcher, I don't know if anybody's ever seen when he testified before Congress, because he's really heavy in the child trafficking world, and he's trying to do a lot of stuff, apps and all of these things. And he's gone before them to ask for resources and money. And when he talks about having to watch these things, because he has to, because some kids they're trying to rescue and look and see where they are, and is there something that they can say, oh, they're in Arkansas or they're in, you know what I mean? Like, you have to watch these. It's very brutal.
What does that do to him though? I wonder. Like, if he
he broke down.
Well,
he broke down in
like,
tears.
Does he have to see a therapist?
Crying,
to be able to
screaming for their parent. I mean, it's brutal. It's very brutal.
I can see that.
It's brutal.
I can see that.
Did you guys see the video over the weekend of the old man in a restaurant who was just like picking up his to-go order, and two moms and like 6 kids. They were like being overwhelmed by their kids. They were so loud. They're trying to set them down or whatever. He just grabs one of the little girl's arms and tries to like take her out of the restaurant. And the mom catches him. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, whoops. And then he just kind of like stormed out of the restaurant. Broad daylight.
Seen a video of a lady with her child sitting outside on a patio having lunch. The man comes from the parking lot and grabs her. And if it wasn't for the guys who acted quickly sitting around their table, she would have been gone. They don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're in broad daylight. There's people everywhere. They're going to try. It's crazy. It's crazy. That's why you can't do like over there and just leave your kid in the fucking...
Yeah, right? You can't. It's Sweden.
You can't.
I'm sitting here with my coffee, having a good old conversation with Marissa. Meanwhile, our kids are just outside right there with their blankets and strollers. Wouldn't that be so great?
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
They got to be within arm's length.
Because, Rob, you're still too young. So Marissa, I mean, we played outside forever until our mom came and said, like, make sure you come inside. Literally that saying, like, when it gets dark, you need to come inside. That was literally what you did.
I did that too.
Yeah.
Really?
But I
Yeah.
think even then the threat existed. I just think we didn't realize, you know.
Or
I
do you think it wasn't just as common or often because I feel like it's happening almost every 3 days. I swear I get an Amber Alert.
Well, imagine how many alerts we're not getting,
oh my God.
right?
Damn, now that you put it like
Yeah,
that,
it's a lot,
shit.
man. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I bet you, like, what would be a statistic?
And there's a lot of kids getting kidnapped, even from back in the day. Do you remember that song, Runaway Train?
Mm-hmm.
That was about all those missing kids and all the pictures and the.
I couldn't watch that video. Remember when they showed it on
Oh,
MTV?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm crying. I don't want to watch this.
This is our reality, man. Why is the world so fucked up?
My aunt came over this weekend and we were kind of talking about certain things, and she was like, I know that you're big on this. You know, my whole transgender, but she just has to say it. She's like, I just want to know, what's the reason? I said, I don't know. I sit here and try to figure it out the same, like why are they pushing it so hard on younger kids? Because I think all of us, or at least most of us, can agree, whatever you want to do to your body to manipulate it, whether that be plastic surgery, whether that be tattoos, piercings, whatever it is, right? We can all agree that if you're of age, 18 or older, do whatever makes your little soul happy, right? Yeah. Wouldn't you agree? Mm-hmm. But I feel like at 3, 4, 5, I mean, really even 18, I feel is young because you're still kind of effing up in a lot of things at 18.
Yeah.
I can
honestly don't know who you are.
I can honestly say I was a responsible person at 21 because I had bills to pay and I lived on my own. But I still was like party mode and living my best life. And I mean, I had to be responsible because I had had bills to pay. But I can't say that I was like, I knew exactly what the vision was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew I was going to school. I knew I had to get a degree. I knew I had to do all the stuff that regular people have to do, right? Yeah. But I just don't know, like, that I even knew then really, like, I can say I felt 100% mature. I'll be honest with y'all. Probably around like 27, 28.
Me too.
Like where I seriously was like paying attention to things. I mean, bills didn't really have anything to do for me because I just kind of was on my own at a very young age. So I can't even say like, well, I was responsible. Yeah, I think there's a lot of responsible people out there, but like mature wise, where you could actually have a conversation with someone and be like, yeah, I don't agree with you, but you know, whatever the case may be, right? I'm going to say 28 for me. So with that being said, I think that changes like that just should not be happening at an elementary level or a middle school level. And even as a high school level, I feel like if you're just like for sure, I think you should be seeking therapy during that time. Yeah. So that when you are of age to go through it, you're mentally prepared for the changes that may start to have in your body. You may realize that this was not really for you.
Like poor Jazz, boo. I'm so sad for her.
She's unhappy, I feel.
Poor baby. Because her mother started this shit at 2 years old.
And Marissa, my baby's not even 2. And
it's just sad.
She will pick up little car to play with. She will pick up, I mean, she plays with my babysitter's grandkids, the boys. She plays with their toys. If they come over, they're playing with her toys. Yep. Do you know what I'm saying? Yep. She's not even 2 yet. So for you to make that decision for them.
When I saw that clip of her crying to her mom, who posted
did you get teary-eyed? Because I did.
Yeah, because I think she even had to be.
She said,
Jazz had to even.
We've gone through this already.
Yeah, Jazz had to even. I feel like she was also aware of the cameras and her mother's feelings and everything, where she had to still be careful of her pain. You know, be careful with her pain. Mm-hmm. You know, she couldn't really say this was a mistake, or fuck you in your ass, bitch, or you did this to me. She couldn't really do that. The cameras are around. She couldn't really be all the way 100% about what she was feeling. She just said, I don't feel like myself.
Yeah.
Well, unpack that.
And that's the problem. There you go. She didn't ask that question. Unpack that. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like the same conversation that we had the last week when we were talking about how when the little boy was playing with the underwear, right?
Mhm.
Instead of the parents asking like, what is this about? Because you're sitting there playing with yourself as you have underwear in your hand, women's underwear in your hand, you spank them.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of I don't know, as a parent, maybe because I'm so aware right now, like if I'd see some stuff like that, my son was doing something like, my first question would be like, holy shit.
Where did you learn this? Who showed this
Yes.
to you?
Why are you doing this? Like, did your friend show? Like, it would be so many questions. I can't say that I would go to spanking, and I'm not against spanking. So, I don't think that I would spank. It literally would be an immediate alert of something's going on. Somebody touched you. Somebody did something, and you're not telling me,
Yep.
So there was a person on TikTok who has gone viral here lately because the son is turning into a girl and they're 5.
Oh my God.
And so the captions or I guess how they put the closed captions now on videos or whatever.
Every video forever. Yeah.
Which is great for the deaf community. I'll tell you that. I love that because the deaf community doesn't get to laugh at the jokes if there's no closed caption. So, they're
those are your peeps.
Those are my peeps.
For life.
So
Gonna just not comment.
Yeah, don't. Not about them. Not about the deaf.
He doesn't give a shit who he comments on.
Absolutely not.
But
no one's safe.
There was the closed caption said, Grandma does not agree with what we're doing. So that I'm assuming it's the guy's mom, right? She says that we are torturing you. And she'll never understand. And then it's a bunch of highlights of the little boy. I personally don't feel like he's happy like that. But if your parents are like encouraging it and your parents are saying, you look wonderful, you should let your hair grow. You look so pretty in a dress. I mean, just think of all the affirmations you give the twins and all the affirmations you give your son, right? If you're constantly telling them, you know what I'm saying, like words of affirmations, right? And you just keep affirming to your son that he looks great as a girl.
Well, then that's what he's going to try to do.
Exactly.
To
you
get
see what
your
I'm saying?
approval.
I also say things like do better though. So, you gotta mix
yes,
the good
of
with
course.
the bad.
But I'm just saying, like, if someone is telling you constantly at 5, so we went to another orientation, and this is for what's considered I think it's the university model. So it's 3 days homeschooling, 2 days at school. And if I could play the orientation video for you guys, y'all would be like, well, why don't public schools do this? They talked about all the things that they've taken out of schools. And it's funny because my husband brought something up to my attention. He goes, do you remember when Mickey brought home math homework and you were saying, why do they teach it to you this way? It's way more complicated. I said, let me just show you the easiest way to do this. And I did. And then her teacher basically said, like, you need to be able to show your work. I said, you did. Like, I showed you how to. Back then, they showed us how. I don't know, Rob. Were they still showing when you were
weird.
School, like to show your work, or like how you got to the answer at the end? Okay. So, and guys, if y'all are watching, y'all are wondering why I'm asking Rob, is we are over
almost 10 years older.
10 years. Is it almost 10?
I'm 33.
Yeah,
I
almost
remember
10.
when I was 33.
Yeah.
It's a great time, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah,
look, I was really good at that time too. I was fine too. Didn't have the stomach,
Son of a bitch. It's
flat stomach,
We're
fat
gonna
bank
get there.
account.
Man,
Flat stomach, fat bank account.
That was the
I
lie.
know. Rome told me today. He's like, I already made blah 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 this year, and I was like, he goes, where did it all go? I was like, kids, kids. Bitch.
Not sure if you know, but all 3 of our kids are in private school. I don't know if you know.
Like, that's where it went. But anyway,
so they talked about math,
Mhm.
right? And I felt like it was a dig because they said it is, guys, it is Bible based. So if anyone wondering what I'm about to say, because she said, because 2 + 2 is 4 because God said so.
That is hilarious.
And I effing loved it. It was such
People
a
are gonna riot in the fucking stream.
I loved how direct it was. It was like a dig without a dig, like, but it was so funny. And
God said,
because God said so.
let there be 4.
He dicho.
And he's like, because basically he was saying, like, God made it make sense. If you had 2 rocks and you have got another 2 rocks, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, guess what it's gonna be?
Or 2 loaves and 2 loaves. You know, we have to make it Jesus-y, you know?
There you go.
That's what I'm
so there
saying.
you go. So we were talking, this whole orientation is talking about that. And Pete's like, it all makes sense. He's like, they're teaching these different ways so that we as parents are no longer able to
Help them.
We're no longer able to say,
Yep.
excuse me, let's just say division, right?
Yep.
Bigger bottom borrow, right? So I remember when Mickey brought home where she's like, what is that? I'm like, well, what do they teach you? I don't know. What is it? No, and it's like these dots on the side, and then and she's putting it over here, and I'm just like, oh my God, I would have failed math if it was taught to me that way.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm also now
They're
40,
making it harder so
that parents can't be involved. And now guess who we're just relying on 100%?
Google.
No,
it's
not even Google now.
The master plan.
It's the
now they're not doing that at Isaiah School or Aiden School. They're teaching them the regular schmegular,
same here. And so that's kind of what my point is.
Yeah.
It was very still traditional. Also, another thing they do is like, do you remember? In which I never even thought about it. You know, when you were in school, if you were learning, I don't know, like history, but you were learning about this era, but then you went to maybe like music class, it was a whole other era, and then you went to art class and it's in a whole other era, right? And you're like, well, damn, I can't keep up with all the eras. Like, okay, whatever. So it's like, how are you going to teach all these eras? How will you ever understand? So it's like whatever's going on in history, they take the art of that history, and that's what you're being taught. The music of that history, and that's what you're being taught, because we're on that history era. You see what I'm saying? So then you're learning that. I was like, well, gosh, I was like, they are really like, I get it. Like, we hear stuff now, right? We're so on top of hearing about how they're changing this and they're wanting to change that, right? But you don't sit there and really analyze it until they actually put it to you in your face in this video. And then you're thinking back to when you were in school, and it's like, wow, has it changed that much? Because you got to remember, I have a pre-K, and Mickey is in high school, but
so she's already in the 9th grade.
She's in the 9th
so
grade.
she's going to 10th.
10th,
okay.
Yes. So she's in AP everything. So she's not even in regular classes. So even with that, it's still kind of like, well,
I still wouldn't be able to help her with her work.
So it's like, what I mean? Whatever. Yeah. It's a lot of the stuff. It's like, what, And when they were explaining it all, it was like, it's all making sense. Like
confusion.
Like no other.
How do you guys feel about college these days? For your kids?
I mean, I want Isaiah to go to college because he wants to play D1.
Outside of sports.
He wants to for sports.
Yeah.
Whatever Aiden wants to do is fine. You know what I'm saying? But whatever they decide, if they want to go to school, they want to have the college experience. Awesome. And if they don't, then they don't.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm okay if they decide they want to go to college, because that is one thing that at the school, it's funny because Pete is not for it. He feels like trade is way more important now. Like he feels like you're able to get a better opportunity when you learn a trade versus a degree.
Yeah.
So, and we're talking about somebody, who has a degree. So I guess you can compare, I didn't get a degree that is, and I don't mean to offend no one who has a degree and doesn't use it, but I didn't get a degree that is, I can always use my degree. So does that make sense? So I don't regret.
Did I.
You didn't get nothing.
So, I was a sociology major and an art history minor, but the plan was to go to law school.
So I was trying to go to law school too. I totally left that alone. I don't know what
I took the LSAT twice, y'all, and I didn't cut it. So I tried. But
my friend did it 6 times, and she's finally in.
Well, they're not. What fucked me up was the logic games.
But
I don't
she
know
had
if
to
anybody.
wait for a long time before she could apply again. Did you have to? I don't know if because she had taken it too many times. Oh no, she did. I think she's on
the logic games. If anybody's ever taken this exam, was the only thing that fucked me up because it's more like patterns, and I could get the answer, but they're timed. I think it's 2 minutes a question, and I wasn't fast enough, and it's crazy because a friend of mine who was just this wretched whore, she's like, "Give me that," and she took it, did it in fucking. This fucking
Well, isn't that
slut.
weird though?
Yes.
Like I've always like people that are really book smart usually are not like just regular smart. Like they couldn't figure out like I'm just gonna like a Rubik's cube or something.
Yeah.
Like that looks very complicated versus like I see the stuff that I'm like I could never do that, and it's like this is common sense. You don't get this. I see that a lot in really smart people.
I'm book smart, but I'm not math smart. You know what I'm saying? And the logic games is very like math-ish. I can't. For me, I struggled.
I am not book smart. I'm have to study smart.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
I have to
too,
study.
but
I can't like. I
mean,
can't
I
say.
had to study.
And don't ask me what I learned either in high school because I don't know. Do you still remember everything you learned?
I went to HSPVA for a little bit, and so you didn't really learn anything. All you did was do your art, whatever it was.
That's kind of fun.
It was fun. I don't know what HSPVA looks
lot.
like now.
That sounds really. And you know what? When I was in my gestures class, there was a little girl from that school that was taking a course there, and everybody couldn't stand her because she was in high school, and we were all freaking adults in college. You know what I'm saying? So she was there taking that course, and because I guess they didn't.
I was only there my first half of my 9th grade year, and then I went to my ghetto ass Jeff Davis High School.
I didn't know it wasn't called that anymore.
It's called Northside.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had even changed the name. Someone told me when I was looking for HISD schools.
Everybody who went there still calls it Davis.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking to someone. I was like, "What? It's called? Oh, it's called what now?" It's like, "Oh, that's interesting." I had no idea.
I could just imagine what HSPVA looks like now.
I would love to see what that's
like. I'm sure there's a lot of days. You know what I'm saying? Like
furries for sure.
Furries for sure. And I don't know if they're accommodating them. I'm pretty sure they are. Because they just want you to be artistic and dance and sing and draw and do whatever you do.
Bunch of losers.
But it was so I really like that.
It was so fun.
That was the one thing that I really liked about even this school. It was like they still want you to have the arts. They still want you to have the theater, the music. And on there, it gives you the option of learning. It says which percussion, like what is your focus?
Yeah.
Well, I was like, well, that's good. And they start them as little as pre-K.
Oh, that's
because
awesome.
They said like, why do you learn this? You know how we're only allowed electives when you're like in junior high and in high school. They're like, how are you ever going to be good at that?
Yeah.
If you just like, oh, well, you're in 7th grade now you can try out for the volleyball team. Now you can try out for, they're like, if there's like T-ball and there's all these things for these little kids, why isn't that offered in regular school?
Ooh, and I don't see why they can't
that
do
makes
it.
sense when they said that. I was like,
damn resources. And he came home with 2 carrots from his garden on Friday.
Oh
when
my
I
God,
picked him
how
up.
cool.
I was like, oh,
that is so cool.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, you just got to find what's the right fit for your kid.
You do. You really do.
And there's a lot of weirdos at 8 in school, but every morning when he gets there, they greet him with the biggest hug and everybody knows him and they love him and it is what it is. You know, that's why he has his mommy and his daddy.
You want to go where everybody knows your name,
bitch. Dum, 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 dum.
Remix.
And they're always glad you came,
bitch.
You had to add your
own
second.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah, so I just thought it was pretty interesting whenever that whole thing, and it was like they're kind of just like talking about like just about what's going on in the schools right now and how they're really trying to remove the parent from the school. Because I thought about being a teacher one day, I don't want to be responsible for your child. Like I just want them to come to school, let me be their teacher.
Yeah.
And peace out.
And peace out, man.
why do these teachers want to be involved this way?
And I don't think it's all teachers.
No, I don't think it's all teachers at all, because
So
my
tough.
girlfriend is a counselor. And so her views are obviously different. And she says how different it is just from when she was a teacher, you know? And so she said shit has changed just from her going to a teacher now to a counselor. She's been a counselor for a minute now, but I just remember when I did the program in high school, I just remember the teacher-student relationship was very different. Now, I did work with the special ed department, so it was even a lot different. But even then, with you having like special needs children, even then, the teacher was like involved in such a good way to where like they wanted to see their student like become just good members of society. Like us going out to do community work, you know what I'm saying? Just us going to taking them HEB, which I don't know if they still do, had like a little program where they would go for a few hours, you know what I'm saying, to learn how to sack because they need to have some kind of job skill, right? Just little things like that, you know? And I don't even know that they even care that much anymore. Like it's like, come in, let's just get this done, and you're just whatever. What trips me out also, my teachers, I used to wonder what my teachers' houses look like. I used to wonder what my
their
teachers
mate was,
who their husband was.
Did they have kids? Like
who their maid was? They're the maids.
No. Did they have a mate? Like did they have
they said maid.
No. Did they have kids? Like did they?
Yeah, I used to always
really
wonder
know
that. We didn't know anything. Same thing with celebrities. Didn't you always wonder like what? I mean, now we have social media. We know what their inside of their house looks like. You know what their cars they're driving. Now it's all of that, but I used to always wonder, like, I had my first grade teacher was my favorite teacher in the world. Her name was Miss Mitchell. And
if she could see you now,
right,
with your cheetah nails, you know what I mean?
But his son never grew up.
I did wear press-on nails for first grade.
Did he get your coffee right today?
Well, he didn't go. It was.
Okay. All right. Good. I'm just saying. We need to make sure he does better.
Why bringing up bullshit?
Right. But he does everything else right.
Tell me about Miss Mitchell.
Yeah, Miss Mitchell was just like really good. She made me like love reading. She used to let us play with her hair while she's reading a book to us. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. Who lets you?
That's beautiful.
She was such a good teacher.
Shout out to all the good teachers out there, man.
Shout out to all the good teachers. That's why it makes me angry when they're putting up their damn Amazon list. That annoys me. I know we already talked about that last week, so no need to bring it back up because my blood's going to boil again. But when I see stuff like that, it makes me mad. And it makes me mad like the fact that, you know, the little library they want to build now to keep the books that are banned from Texas schools. It's the silliest thing. Why don't you open up a center for children with, you know, who don't have books in the summertime, right? Just give them a book in general. Give them a place to go and maybe provide an art teacher in your center. You know what I'm saying? Provide these children that are not able to go to summer camp, like kids with, you know, whose parents can't afford for them to go to summer camp, right? Wouldn't you just think to do something like that instead?
If you could run for president, the world would be a better place.
I mean, it really would, Marissa. I don't know.
And I can be your campaign manager.
You are totally going to be my
You're the VP.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because we would make good ideas together.
I'm just saying.
Because we've solved a lot of problems in our head together.
All three of us has solved problems. Okay. And it's just three of us. We're paying these Congress people $180,000 a year to do what? To fucking sit there and just say, well, the Republicans don't want to work with us. Well, the Democrats don't want to work with us. And then that's all they say. And then they move on with their lives and they go to all the same dinner parties and their kids go to all the same schools. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we just give them a pass for doing nothing.
All the time.
All the time. Sick of this shit.
I'm over it.
Anyway. We have a comment here from Crystal Lara on the stream. If you guys want to get to before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up the live episode, going back to earlier, we were talking about some of the kid stuff, and was it Jazz? So is around this topic.
I wish I could give Jazz a call.
When a person, this is from Crystal Lara, when a person has weight loss surgery, they make them go to therapy because it's a quote life-changing choice. Same thing should apply to the people choosing to change genders. I totally agree with you, Mighty Soul.
Oh,
Yep.
so it's before or after? She's saying before you get a weight loss surgery, you have to go through this,
Is it before or after?
or after?
When a person has weight loss surgery, they make them go to therapy.
It is before, because I remember watching like the 600-pound with a
Mm.
doctor that they would make them go to therapy first. She is so right.
Yep. And see, that's the thing. You kind of touched on it. You were saying that you need to like talk to them first and just make sure that this is what they want to do. And when your kid shares those things with you, like, I feel like I'm a girl or whatever it is, therapy needs to start,
Mhm.
you know, and away from the parent and away from whatever, and child psychologists, and not to sway them one way or the other,
100%.
to just let them continue to speak on
Their
how
feelings,
they feel.
exactly.
You know, it's
Mhm.
not like you're trying to say, no, you don't, you're wrong. It's just let them. And then it should be recorded and videotaped so that we can all kind of see, you know, what they're saying and keep track of their progress and keep track of how they feel. So it's a community effort.
I just want right now
What?
when you're talking-
Why? Why are
Okay.
you laughing at me?
Oh, not because the guys, my
What?
child is something else.
Which
Is
one?
Aiden okay?
He's fine.
Okay.
Wait till we hear you scream. We're
Yeah.
good.
we'll
Okay.
wait.
So I think I'm assuming, because I don't go to Penny's church class with her, right? She goes to her own class. They were talking about the armor that God provides, right? And so she was like, you know, you're always protected by the body of armor and blah, blah, blah. So I guess she's
The breastplate of
right,
righteousness.
exactly.
The sword of
There
whatever.
you go. And so she's so funny because she's really somebody who will ask questions about something,
Yeah.
right? Like she was saying, so when we're driving, how come the sun is moving with us? And I'm just like, it's not moving. We're the ones moving. It's stationary. So I'm like trying to explain to her. She goes, no, I'm watching it move. And so, you know, it's like things like that she'll ask. Okay. So then we're on our way to go eat after church. And she goes, Mom, I said, yeah. She says, is God a girl or a boy? And I said, a boy? She's like, okay, well then he can't come to the bathroom with me. I said, what? He's like, well, yeah, because if he's always protecting me and he's watching over me, do you understand?
Yep.
They
He's in
explained
there,
about-
he's watching me. He's watching me wipe my ass. Okay, God, turn around.
That's exactly what she said.
Turn around.
She said he needs to turn around when I'm using the restroom because he can't watch me too when I'm peeing. I said,
He turns around, baby girl.
I said, dear Lord, I said, Penny, God knows. I'm like, he waits outside for you. And then he
Yeah.
continues to protect you after you're done peeing. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay, that
He
makes
protects
sense.
the door.
It was
from
the
intruders.
most hilarious thing. I was like,
That's why I love kids.
4 years old. And
Yep.
she really thought about that. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we always talk about how no one's supposed to like touch you and stuff like that. So I thought it was hilarious that she said, and then they had just
Does
talked
he
about
watch me pee?
church. You know what I'm saying? That you're protected. He's always with you. He's always watching you. That's where I think she got that from. If he's always
Yes.
watching you, she said, is he a boy or a girl?
That's awesome.
And I told her, it's
She's
just
so
like,
amazing.
is that not hilarious?
So funny.
She would, right? Only Penny would.
She also has that streak of rage though, because that story that you posted
Which one?
where she was angry with her little sister. Sunny was
Oh.
coloring at the table.
Man, but y'all don't even know about Sunny.
Girl.
Sunny is savage.
Girl.
That's what I
Oh,
talked about
see,
this.
I'm
These
scared.
pandemic
I'm
babies.
scared.
I
They're
don't
crazy.
know.
They're crazy. They're crazy.
Oh yeah, they're crazy. That has nothing to do with the genetics, right? That has nothing to do with mom's
true.
mom's
That's
genetics.
true.
None of it. Come
It
on,
is
guys.
I didn't just wake up and knock my sister out for no reason.
I
bet
feel
you
like
wanted
I might
to,
have.
though.
I feel like I might have. I woke up and
Marissa
chose
definitely
violence
did.
many days.
Penny was just laying there. Hey, Sunny. Good morning, sister. And then she just goes, boom.
Out of
I
my
said,
face.
bro, what are you doing? And then she goes,
Oh.
and then Penny feels bad. She goes, don't scream at my sister. Like, she just hit you in the face. That's okay. It didn't hurt that bad. It didn't hurt that bad.
God.
Oh my God.
I
Anyway,
love it.
guys,
Anyway.
thank you so much for listening. Make sure you tune in every Monday. Today was a little bit later because I go get a license, but
It's all right.
it'll be at noon most Mondays,
Yeah,
right, Rob?
Right.
And I say most because we don't
Unless
always
life
stay on
hits,
schedule, Mondays at 12. Marissa says she will be joining us every Monday.
Yep,
Oh,
that's right.
snap.
That's
So
right. That's
she's going
right.
to be my co-host and along with Rob GTV.
Yeah.
So go follow everybody.
Amen.
See y'all.